Welcome to Masterpiece Tarot. Here you will find timeless messages to guide your soul's awakening. If you're here, trust. You are meant to be. Please show your support by liking, sharing, and subscribing. These help support my mission of creating more peace on Earth. All right, welcome in, collective. Happy that you can be here today. I'm happy to be here as well. The first thing that I would like to do is ask Spirit to just give us a general message. We'll get a sense of what the energy is doing today and what's going on out there and in there. All righty. Let's do, I need to find my message cards. Where did I put those little guys? Oh, shoot, you guys. Well, oh, here they are. Cool. All right. Alrighty. Thank you for using me as a channel to bring through these messages for the collective. What type of message is it that you would like to share with us today, Spirit? What have you got for us today? This is a message to pass on. So this might be for you, but it might be one that you will want to share with somebody else. So if you find that the messages aren't resonating for you, maybe think of somebody else and consider whether it might be beneficial to somebody else. Okay, Spirit. We're going to just do the simple 4-card spread here to get us started for the day. It's a pretty open message, just one that you might be able to pass along. Okay, Spirit, what's the overall situation here? An Ace of Cups. That was the card we just looked at. Okay. Well, here we have an offer of love, perhaps from the divine. Somebody is very much ready to receive that with their hand open. That's an overflowing cup. We have an Ace of Pentacles as the opportunity, a Queen of Pentacles as the challenge, and one more here for an action in the Page of Pentacles. 3 Pentacles and 1 cup. No majors. 2 aces. So this is about smaller actions of daily life. This isn't anything really major or pivotal. Yeah, let's see here. What about this Ace of Cups? What else can we know about this Ace of Cups? Who are we talking about, or what is the overall situation here? The Hierophant, a 10 of Swords, and Judgment. I am getting the feeling I think this Ace of Cups is coming after some type of situation where both the divine and an authority figure who represents kind of the rules here on Earth stepped in to help restore balance. Because like I think of the 10 of Swords and this Cup of Love, this Ace of Cups, as being almost opposite cards. You know, we have a beginning with an ace and a completion with the 10. We have love and compassion and kindness and, you know, flowing emotion. And here we have, you know, death by harsh words, basically. This could be from others. This could also be a self-sabotaging type of emotion. Okay, this could also be karma, right? Like If you're out there saying a bunch of mean stuff, you can expect to get that energy coming back at you. Not to say that there's a physical death, but it's a metaphorical thing. It's an ego death, right? Like, at some point, it's going to have to alchemize. At some point, somebody's going to notice. Maybe it's your own inner super ego, your own inner sense of morality or something that steps in and goes, you know something? That wasn't cool. And then with judgment, we have the divine. But this is like about blending of, the egocentric self and the more liberated, transcendent self. Like, this is, they're coming out of graves and they're receiving the divine. So it's a blending of both energies, the lower world and the upper world. And I think we see that really clearly here. So this could actually be for one person, matter of fact. This Ace of Cups, it could be, a new love interest. It could be self-love that finally arrives after a period of self-sabotage. There could be some guidance that's coming in and helping you to move forward into this really cool energy of judgment. Yeah. Kind of a cool energy. So you might be undergoing some kind of inner alchemy at this time, whoever I'm reading for. Yeah, there might be like a complete 180 here happening in your life. Sometimes things have to bottom out, rock bottom right here. But look, this rock bottom is protected on both sides. One by the Hierophant, which is this earthly energy, tradition, and the other by this divine energy, which is about transcendence, in a way. So there's some kind of, within the spiritual realm, or it could even just be within somebody's psychology, something is becoming integrated. Alrighty, talk to us. Let's get these out of the way a little bit. Talk to us about this Ace of Pentacles, Spirit. What's this planting of a seed? What is this new beginning in the material? Could be about prosperity. It could be about anything in the career. We've got a King of Swords, so we've got an air sign masculine energy. We have Death in the reverse. Weird to have a reversal, but we do. Death in the reverse. And a King of Pentacles. Okay, so we could be talking about two kings. A Death in the reverse. I have to look it up because I'm still not the most confident about that. Let's see here. Let's see here. This can be about clinging to the past and refusing to change. Well, the opportunity has to do with some resistance that this person might be experiencing. Okay, this is the opportunity here, okay, for this person to have this big transformation, okay, to somehow alchemize a 10 of Swords, because that's a completion, and we have a new beginning here with the Ace of Cups, newfound sense of self-love, or perhaps a new relationship that becomes possible once you're more integrated and whole and healed within yourself. Over here, we have, not only do we have an Ace of Cups, but we have an Ace of Pentacles. So not only is it love, but it's, there's an opportunity for some type of abundance, something in the physical, like I said, a career, a new relationship, a raise at work. It could be an inheritance, a gift, something, Yeah, a sudden increase. I don't know. It's some kind of new start, though. And it is about the individual here. And so what I'm seeing is, again, in the center of these three cards is the opportunity card. Because, you know, death in the reverse is about clinging to the past, about not wanting to change. But we see on either side we have these kings. We have an air sign and an earth sign. And again, that air sign is about, you know, taking decisive action, cutting out anything that doesn't serve, seeking the truth, and taking action on all of that. And then with the King of Pentacles, this is like, this person's very grounded and nourishing and stable, orderly, structured. And so there's a sense that both of these energies are in some way helping you, collective, or the person that we're going to be passing this message along to, helping you to alchemize the situation. Okay, so if you're not wanting to change, you're having some resistance, you're clinging to the past, well, guess what? The King of Swords is here to help you cut it off. Cut off that past, whatever that means. All right, letting go of things that are toxic, letting go of situations, jobs, people, places, right? Anything that's not serving you in this new beginning can be released by enacting your King of Swords energy. That might help get you unstuck. It might help you to finally stop clinging to something that's worn out, outdated, you know, yesterday's news, whatever the case may be. Something that you need to release so that you can move forward. That King of Swords is there to help you do it. And the King of Pentacles is too, because grounding is so important anytime we're going through death. Okay, big transformation. Because what a big transformation does, like with that Tower card, you can kind of think of that card. That, although it is a positive card in many ways, there is a sense of destruction with it. And of course, with destruction comes lots of unexpected and sometimes painful things. I mean, if a tower collapses, look what happened with 9/11. People died. It was terrible. The sky was filled up with pollution. And so when we have heightened reactions to sudden changes and endings, this King of Pentacles energy helps us remember to stay grounded. And by doing that, we're more likely to feel safe enough to release anything we've been clinging to, any unhealthy attachments, and, you know, start going with the flow more. There's a sense with the death in reverse that there's something rigid happening, like not wanting it to come, not wanting the inevitable, right? So the opportunity there is to use those king energies, those masters of air and earth, discernment and grounding, to navigate through this ending, this completion that we're seeing clearly here with the two aces, and we have the 10 of swords and the death representing the endings. We have two beginnings, two endings. Okay, now why is this Queen of Pentacles a barrier or a challenge or an obstacle? What's going on with this? This could be an earth sign, feminine, doesn't have to be. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. What you got, Spirit? A Knight of Swords. This is fast-moving action. A Page of Wands. Somebody who's thinking about taking action. A Knight of Swords is like fast incoming messages. And the last one here is the Wheel of Fortune. What I'm getting here For whoever we're reading for here, this might be you, collective. I think you are in this Queen of Pentacles energy. I think this is the person that we're reading for who has these two aces, but who's working on also completions. I kind of feel like this might be a future self here, a Queen of Pentacles. You know, this is somebody who's really leveled up here. This is somebody who has mastered the material, but because it's a feminine energy, this is like the receptive, nurturing, you know, aspect of that. You know, the one who's there to water the crops and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Helping with the family at home and stuff like that, traditionally. It's just an energy. Male or female, doesn't matter, but it's this feminine energy. And what I'm seeing here that's challenging is we have a knight and a page. These are younger energies here. So I'm feeling like there could be aspects of self that relate to these energies. So the Knight of Swords takes fast action to say something, to bring in a message. And there could be an aspect of you that is a little bit impulsive. All right? And I'm saying that because there's this need for grounding, and there's also this need to be discerning. When we're not mature and we need to be discerning, sometimes our animal instincts override our logical mind. The King of Swords is somebody who's thought through things. There's a sense of logic here, and a real knowing and a willingness to use that sword to remove what has been shown to be needing to be removed. But with the Knight of Swords, this is a younger energy. This is somebody who maybe acts without thinking. The Knight of Swords can also be kind of in and out, like they're not quite as committed to a path. And Page is even less so, because they're even younger. They haven't even gone out in the world and started doing. So we learn a lot through doing stuff. We learn a lot through doing stuff, and when we're young and we're doing stuff, we're making mistakes, possibly. The Page hasn't even entered that phase. So this could be an aspect of self that is energetically or spiritually or emotionally even younger, where the Wands is about passion, creativity, doing things. It's kind of in contrast to, the logical energy that we see with like the Swords energy. The Wands is like fire. It's like primordial energy. And so again, I kind of am just feeling like there's a need to integrate and mature and grow and expand. And then once that happens, I think you'll really see that the wheel's always turning. But I think the Wheel of Fortune in this particular read, this particular little spread here, relates to the Queen of Pentacles, where it is about maybe prosperity or some type of abundance, whatever abundance means to you or the person you're passing the message on to. So there is some sense, again here, right in the center of these energies, needing to allow some time to pass, to allow these energies to work through what it is that they're working through and level up. So that might be a challenge. It might mean that patience is needed. And if you've got two aces right here looking right at you and you're completing things, having to acknowledge that there may be a part of you that is still in process. I don't know, that could be all kinds of different things. It might feel frustrating. You might feel a little apathetic. You might want to distract yourself. You might, I don't know, do cool stuff. You might go on trips, or I don't know. But it's like you're at the precipice of a big change, a big new start, and yet here in the energy, we've got a knight and a page that are kind of opposed in terms of their energies. So there's still some integration that needs to happen, which is what we're talking about here with this Judgment card, this like alchemical blending of perhaps the air and the earth, well, actually we have air, earth, and fire here. But you know, this is like blending of all of the energies. This is a sense that it's all coming together and becoming more integrated. We have like a whole family of people, and these can represent different parts of ourselves, or this could represent ourselves at different times in our own life or in different lifetimes that are now all standing together before the divine. And it's like an opportunity to bring it all together, to unite. Page of Pentacles. This is the action. Another young one. And another knight. A Knight of Cups. A King of Wands. Lots of court cards. I'm telling you, this is a day-to-day kind of a thing. Pardon me. Okay, we do have... Oh, excuse me. Actually, we have a lot of majors. We have the Hierophant, Judgment, Death, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun. What's the action to take? Stay positive. Stay positive. No matter who you're dealing with, all these different dynamics with pages and knights, kings and queens, and all these big energies, right? You know, Judgment, the Hierophant dealing with, you know, what's expected of you collectively from tradition, right? How you're connecting with the divine, the different parts of yourself. Any resistance that you're facing with this Death in the reverse, right? And how you're going to deal with that. Stay optimistic, because this journey through life can be as happy as you want it to be. And you can always choose to find a sunny spot even in dark times. Collective. Wheel's going to turn. Change is the only constant in life. So, yeah. And just allow yourself to go through all these different phases. You know, I think it's just reminding us that we've got these 4 elements and energies within us. You know, we're each at a different stage within ourselves along this journey. Some people refer to it as the hero's journey. But the idea is that we are faced with lessons, and through the process of life, we grow from these lessons. And as we mature, we integrate these lessons if we've got the right tools and supports and things, and then we become more whole. And you don't have to be an older, mature person to experience this feeling of wholeness at all. Okay, anywhere along the path, you're going to experience that feeling. You know that feeling when it's like something, you're doing something. Maybe you're like at a concert and the weather's really nice and you're sitting on the lawn and the music's really nice and you've got some nice people around you. And maybe there's some dancing, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you can relate to this, but sometimes the spiritual energy will just rush through and you'll get goosebumps, and it'll feel like some type of elevated moment of just like, wow, this is really it. And that might last for a moment, Or sometimes it can last quite some time when you've reached some type of a, I guess I would call it like an integration point. You know, it's like we grow, 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 plateau, grow, 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 plateau. And, you know, it's all cycles. So look for those bright spots. All right, take care of yourselves, love yourselves. Know that you've got these aces. Aces are about the individual. We've got two of them. Two aces right here. Yeah. You know, let's actually, before we completely close, let's do, yeah, we'll grab a couple more. We'll grab a couple of these cards right here. There it is again. The Ten of Swords, Temperance, and a Ten of Wands. Well, I just gave you a really positive ending to a reading, but I think Spirit wants me to temper it with a little bit of realism. So we've got two more completions, both of them more on the burdensome side of things. Okay, so if you are going through a difficult time, you know that there's healing available to you. I feel like that little triangle up there represents a portal. I don't know if that's what the artist intended, but it feels like a portal, and it feels like, or like a keyhole, like you have the key that can unlock, you know, the new beginning that you're needing right now with all these 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and back here we also had the 10. So I'm like an eternal optimist, so I oftentimes focus on the positive, but I know that sometimes that's out of sync with what other people are feeling. So yes, I want to be authentic to my own energy, but I also want to acknowledge what Spirit's really trying to bring our attention to, which is some heaviness right now. So, all right, guys. We could pull a couple of oracles and see if we've got any advice. How can we get through this little thing we're going through here? Let's see. Patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. Okay, we got patience. Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. With that Ace of Cups, the new beginning is here for you. So forgiveness might be one of those keys. Uh-oh. Way too many just fell out. And indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. And I'm reminded of that Death card in the reverse, where there's that clinging to the past, not wanting to change and move ahead. You know, and that resistance oftentimes comes from a place of ego, which is to do with the logical mind. But intuition is like on the other side of the spectrum. Intuition is about inner knowing, inner wisdom. It's a receptive energy, where ego is something that's more projected outward. So I kind of feel like this might also be a message, if you're resonating with that clinging on to what was, having a hard time allowing a transformation or transition to occur. You know, it's just, sometimes it's a matter of making up your mind that you're going to release an attachment. whether it's to a bad habit, to an unhealthy job, whatever it is. And when we do that, what happens is we free our energy up to get all the way through the cycle, have a completion, then we can get to those aces, the beginning. We can become the Fool again, right? Where everything is possible. Okay, that was your message to pass on for today, collective. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.